Hello, my name is Gabe, and to start off this video, we're going to talk about a giveaway my channel is going to be doing. We have a copy of Total War Warhammer 2. This will be a giveaway done on November 30th, and to enter, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and leave a comment saying I subbed. And we will be choosing a winner on November 30th, and it will be a digital copy of the game, which can be used on Steam. Thank you, and now let's get to our review of South Park's Fractured But Whole. To start out, I want to talk about the South Park series in general. I am an avid fan of South Park, have been since the very beginning. I was there for episode 1's release, and I've watched it all the way up until the most recent episode today, which is, I believe, episode 4, season 21. Now, unfortunately, I think season 1 through 19, absolutely amazing. Then we get to season 20. I think it's the lowest point of the series. They went too hard in on subjects like Trump and just ruined the show. The jokes got boring, they didn't let off of it, and unfortunately I think the series itself suffered heavily for this, and it seems like season 21, the latest season that's going on now, suffers from a very similar problem. They just cannot let Trump winning an election go for some reason. I don't understand it. South Park used to make fun of everybody equally, including talk about not making fun of Bush because low-hanging fruit, everybody's doing it. But yet again, here we are, season 21, and constant Trump jokes. But if you like season 1 through 19, this game is for you. The game is very true to the South Park we knew and loved. There is very little references to season 20, and no reference to season 21, of course. All there is 2 references to season 20, so none of the stuff with Mr. Garrison and Caitlyn Jenner are in it. So very nice on that fact. And now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the game itself. The game is a sequel to South Park: The Stick of Truth, which was very similar to old school JRPGs, turn-based combat, things like that. This game continues on with the RPG feeling, but instead of the simple turn-based combat, they went with a grid-based team combat. Still turn-based, but you have more options of moving around, things like that. The combat is excellent. I think they did a great job in improving the combat and bringing something new to this game instead of just rehashing what they had in the last game. You have a lot more choices this time around, as well as for classes. For the classes, we have the Speedster, the Brutalist, the Blaster, the Elementalist, Cyborg, Psychic, Assassin, Gadgeteer, Plant-Master, and Martial Artist. And in this game, they allow you to mix and match the classes between all of them. So as you progress in the game, you unlock further classes, and you can have more classes to your character. So you get a choice of 4 abilities, 3 core abilities, and an ulti. And the ulti is what you would expect. You build up the meter as you fight in the match, and it does, either a devastating amount of damage to a single target, a good amount of damage to multiple targets, or good status effects, or it can even revive or heal your teammates for some classes, what they consider the support classes, like the Plant-Mancer. And this time around, you also have a lot more characters to pick from to team up with. You have a lot of the returning, like Kenny, Cartman, Stan, Kyle, Clyde, Tweak, Craig, and Butters, of course. And each character is their superhero persona we've seen throughout the series, and like the Coon and Friends episodes and stuff, Mysterion episodes. And it's a lot of fun picking the different characters because they interact with each other a lot differently in this game versus the last one, especially during combat. They'll make comments to each other, jabs at each other. It's a lot of fun. The core game itself, the story is solid. Story is a lot of fun, very humorous. I found myself laughing many different times during the story, to the point where I just couldn't stop coughing because I was laughing too hard. And it's very nice to have that in a game. I think single player stories are dying out in video games today, especially in the AAA titles. Excuse me. It seems like today they are pushing more and more for multiplayer content and microtransactions so they can make more money, and foregoing single player in games, which is very sad because I still love playing single player games. Mechanics in the games that passed over from Stick of Truth to Fractured But Whole is stuff like the character interactions with the environment to solve puzzles and things like that, except for this time it feels more integrated and more used than the last time. There's a lot more options to use those friends' abilities than there was before, and a lot of stuff you can't progress in the game without using them. I'm not going to go into what they are because, that's the prize of playing the game. When you play it, you'll see and you'll laugh. And then you also have the new farting abilities. Farting played a big part in the last game, but this time you can use the farting more heavily in combat than the last one. I found myself really never using the fart abilities in combat in Stick of Truth. But this time you have time warping farts. Things like reversing time, moving time forward, pausing time, and they play a heavy part in the combat itself. The game mechanics for exploring around, things like that, they improved upon. You find yourself not selling a whole bunch of junk like you did in the last one. You can collect items and craft items. It's not the most robust crafting system, but I commend them for putting a crafting system in there. You can do things like craft costumes and craft relics, which are taking the place of what gear was in the last game. Costumes in this game are fully cosmetic. They don't do anything for your stats or anything like that like they did in Stick of Truth. What you have now is you have these relics and DNA samples. Relics are items that increase your stats and also boost different stats in combat, like your super recharge or your health regain or attack damage or status effects. And they also boost your normal stats to a certain amount. And that's how you build your character stronger. As you level up and progress, you unlock more of these relic slots. You have 3 different relic slots that you get a certain amount of each one. Then you have the DNA sample, which is something that increases your stats and also can decrease some stats. Like gaining higher attack, you can also sacrifice things like health for the higher attack. The core of the game is still the same as the last time. A lot of comedy. The game takes place literally the day after Stick of Truth. You play as the same character. This time you do get a choice to pick your gender and everything. And they explain that in the game as a way of, basically you were that gender the whole time, no one just realized it. But it gives a chance for people to reinvent the character, not just be the same character as last time. You can change things like your religion, your orientation, and things like that. The character creation system is about the same as last time. There's no real difference to it. Now for what everybody's curious about for this game. Should you buy it? Should you wait? Or should you avoid it like the plague? And for me, absolutely buy the game. It's getting harder and harder to find good RPG games, especially turn-based style games or grid-based games. So when a good one like this comes around, definitely pick it up. The story is enjoyable, it's funny, it's what you hope for from a South Park game. The combat is good. It's better than a lot of games I've played recently. The characters are fun. Unfortunately, unlike last time, there will be DLC. I know how a lot of people feel about DLC packages for the game and how they're not big on that. I'm personally not too big on DLC myself. I wish, if they're going to do anything, do an expansion. But I guess those days of expansions are dead, and they lean more towards, a fraction of content for $10, $15 a pop. Or in this case, you have the option of a pass for $30. But I definitely do recommend this game to anybody, especially if you are a fan of South Park, or if you are a fan of RPGs, like Final Fantasy Tactics or Ogre Tactics. It definitely delivers on the RPG aspect, and if you just want something fun to play that's comedy and single player based, you're a little burnt out on multiplayer, by all means get South Park. It's not for everybody, I know that. The humor is very crude. The comedy can get a little extreme and very non-PC if you're into that whole shtick. But even then, if the game's on sale, pick it up then. It's definitely one to pick up eventually, and just play through for the sake of playing through it. Well, that will be about it for my video review. Thank you for listening, and if you like this, feel free to leave a comment, a like, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, and look out for that contest for the Total War Warhammer 2. Thank you. Have a nice day.